I think we are live. Let me just make sure that you guys can hear me and that it confirmed my stream. Yay! It says I am live. Hey Jamie, Pat, Susan, thank you all for joining me. Happy Memorial Day. Hope you guys are having a nice time with family. Thank you to all who have served and those who are still serving. We greatly appreciate you guys. Hi, Sue and Louise. Okay, guys, today let me go ahead and play the intro and we'll get started on everything. Okay, so I wanted to show the joy a little bit of love. A few of you may have been asking about why I wasn't doing any joy projects, and it really wasn't that I didn't want to do them. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I have a really tough time making my brain reverse for these cards. And I kept doing them and doing them and doing them, and I finally got a few that I got to work and look good. So I thought I would go ahead and share those. However, in my designing for joy cards, I find that the pre-made stuff that's already in Design Space to be a whole lot easier. But I have figured out a couple of steps that simplify it, and hopefully if you guys are looking to design, it's going to clear up a few things for you on how to design cards for your joy and make 5x7 cards for your makers and your heirs and your heir twos and your explorers. So this is what I came up with. Let me just pop on over and then we'll come back here to the overhead. I did these couple of cards. This one I did cut on the joy and set it up, and I even wrote inside. You need to pay attention to the back side of your material. This was a piece of scrap gold glitter that I had. This was a joy card insert already cut. Or, well, the insert wasn't cut, but just the card itself already cut out of its little package, which I sat here somewhere. Here it is. These. And then I wanted to use a gold insert on it. So I had a piece of scrap and I just cut that down to match, because if you get the joy inserts, it tells you that the cards are A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that the inserts are 4" by 5 1/4. So they're a 1/4 inch smaller all the way around than the card itself to fit into the corners, and we're going to cover those too. However, I wasn't paying attention that I had a cream colored card and the back of that cardstock was white. Now that may bother some of you, it may not bother others, but I was kind of like, how can I dress that up so it looks intended? And so I just cut a piece of my scrap foil acetate that I had. I cut a piece of that and stuck that behind it to look intended, and you could even slip some money or a gift card or whatever you wanted in there, kind of create a little pocket. You can glue it at the edges if you want to contain something. So you can still dress these up on the inside. And then I also had the joy write the sentiment on the inside, because a lot of people are needing sympathy cards at this time of the year. And I mean, we don't like to do sympathy cards, but when we need one, okay? It's not the best subject, but this card can be made for birthdays, anything. You can put whatever sentiment you want to put in there, okay? the way that you're going to write on your joy cards, because we're not actually going to be cutting today, we're going to talk more about designing, but I just wanted to show you the cards so you would know what we were talking about over on the design page. So when you do your card and you cut it, and then you remove it from the mat before you have your inserts put in, of course, you're going to fold that card backwards like this and put it back on your mat. And you're just going to open up that card mat, and you're going to slip the front underneath and slip that up in there. I've got all those extra layers in there, so it's getting a little thick in there. Of course, you won't have those in yours. And then adjust your card on there, and I'm going to show you how I got mine to center up best I could. It's not going to be 100% exact. Hopefully they'll give us some tools to work with that here soon. But I got it pretty close. I was off to the right just slightly. I mean, it's not even maybe 1/8 of an inch, just over 1/8 of an inch. I was off. But there are ways that you can do it. Now here is the same card stretched out to a 5x7. Now when I did this, I didn't realize that they already had some cards in Design Space, and I probably should have used one of those bases to slice from, but I made my own. And this one was supposed to draw, and you can see that I have just a little bit of an area at the top and the bottom, but you can do washi tape around that. You can do all sorts of things, or you can have it come higher up in the corners, and we're going to cover how to do that. But again, I wanted the inside to be pretty on mine. So I used the color side, and it was just a little too bland, and I don't know if you can see, but I used that same holographic acetate on the front so that it kind of dressed up that solid color and then gave me a pretty panel on the inside. So you can do that. I didn't glue them. I didn't do anything. They're two different pieces, but you can see that that is pretty plain, but when you pop in just a tiny bit of flash, it gives that card a whole new different look. Okay, so guys, play around with it. Use your double-sided cardstocks. You might have some that are like watercolor on one side and have a pattern on the other. They will work just as well and dress up the inside and get those pretty too. Okay, so that being said, because I've already done a video showing how to load your materials and stuff and put those in the Joy, we already have a video on that. So let's go over and talk more about the designing aspect. And as always, guys, if you have any questions, put them in caps. We'll get those answered, or we'll show you how to do it on there. Yeah, they would be great for Christmas, Susan, birthdays, you name it, just all sorts of stuff. But you can see right here, I didn't quite, all I did was actually, I set this stencil up, and you guys, everybody has access to these dahlias and to these corners. The corners are in Design Space, and the dahlias are on the free SVG tab with Crafting with April. But where all of my Ko-fi supporters and my Patreon supporters, and if you're on the Cutie Collector level and higher, we do have a floral pack for you guys that I uploaded on the 2020 tab, and we're going to be bringing these in, and we're going to design a card using those. But everything that you see here is available to everybody. It's in Design Space. The sentiment is, the corners are, and this dahlia is for everybody, and it's on craftingwithapril.co on the freebies tab. So you can make that. So let's go over, and what I did when I designed this one, I just put in, like I normally would, my 10 by 7 square, and I stretched this piece and sliced it, but I sliced it when it was, let me just flip this horizontal. I sliced it when it was over here, as you can see, because that's the way the front of the card is designed to look. And you can see that I stretched it a little bit to fit that 5x7 card, and it still didn't quite meet up to the corners where I wanted it. I'm going to flip this back so we don't. After you slice it, you're going to slice it on the right-hand side, and then you're going to flip it back horizontal. That way it cuts on this side and it writes on the inside of your card, okay? Because anytime that you're writing on your inside of your 5x7 cards or your joy cards, you want it to be on this right-hand side, okay? With the joy, it doesn't really matter because you're going to cut the front of the card, you're going to take that card out, you're going to fold it backwards the other way, and you're going to put the inside on the top and let it write. And I'm just going to show you guys before we start designing how I did that, just so that you can see. I want to select everything down below is what I want to do. Let me make this smaller because I brought some stuff in so we wouldn't have to search for it. There we go. So let's go back up. Let's say I'm done designing and I want to hit make it. And I forgot my machine. Joy. We want the joy. You have to change your machine. And I leave both of mine in my design, and I hide the one that is for my maker if I'm using my joy, and if I'm using the one for the maker, then I hide the joy, because you have to select machines. So the first thing I did is I did select that I was using a card mat, and then you have to select the size. I don't know why they have that as the default when those insets are A2s. But what I did is once I did that, I kind of eyeballed it as to where I wanted it to be, and it looked pretty good. And then I actually bumped it to the left just a little, and I should have bumped it just a little bit more. I don't know why it tends to be to the right, but it's going to look off a little bit on your mat, but you're going to be close if you do that. As far as centering went, it really looked good, because with the cinnamon on the inside, you can get away with it being higher. So if you're worried that it's going to be, I wouldn't go too low, but you can set it up higher, or you can set it kind of center, and if it's off, it will look intended, because you always need signature room. So concentrate more on getting it here and trying to leave just a little bit more space on the right than you do the left if your machine is doing that. And as always, do a test with a scrap piece of paper before you use your cards that are pre-cut and everything and ready to go. Slap a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of scrap cardstock on there and let it write on there and see where it's landing and make your adjustments from there. That's the best that we can do with those right now. Unfortunately, that's all we can do. And then, of course, with this one, when you go and you set it to the A2 size, it's going to center that up for you. You don't have to do anything to your cut portion. So that is just how you do the sentiment on the joy. And let's go down and unhide that group. I'm going to hide this one just because I want to save it. I will use it later. And let me bring in this group. And ungroup it. And I'm going to hide this one too because we don't need it. We're gonna do this from scratch. So guys, what I have here, and I am going to ungroup those. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to get rid of these envelopes because I'm not cutting envelopes or anything with these. I just wanted to bring in a few of samples, basically, because they have these set up and they are set up for A2 size, okay? And your score line looks like it's attached to the insert. Don't ask me why. I mean, I really don't know why they attach the score line to the insert for these. If anybody has a reason why they may have done that, please fill me in because I wasn't able to figure it out. This one, the score line is attached to the card like it's supposed to be. These two are not. So whatever one you get, you're just going to have to work with that and see if you can figure it out. And I'm going to change these all to white so that we can see what we have on there and we can tell what they are. And I'm going to show you where I found them also. And then this is also corners that are set up for the 4 by 5 1/4, and that's your A2 card. But we want to size them up for a 5 by 7. So when you go into images, you can come up here and you can search corners. That's all you have to type is corners and search. Happy birthday, Bonnie. It's my cousin's birthday too. Oh, that's awesome. So here we are. And if you start scrolling through corners, it's going to bring up all of these in here, all your decorative stuff, which you could use with these cards as well, guys. So don't shy off from those. They will make pretty corner decorations for your joy cards and your, there they are. Right here, you start to see these right here. It's called a corner cut card. And each of these corners have a different cut on them. And I just picked a few. And then here are just your corners. All right. But this one has some lines drawn. And that's the one I used for that Dahlia card. That is image M139CF777. So if you liked that one, all I did was contour out the draw lines. So you could use those and just contour them out. You don't have to use those. So when you see them, you can grab those. They also have some right down here without the draw lines, and they're different shapes as well, and curves. Here's some more of the cards with different shapes. This one has the clouds on it. I brought it in just to take a look. Here's a double cut corner, but all sorts of them. So you can typically make several different cards with different looks out of one image by using the different corners and stuff. Okay, so that's where you're going to find those. So if you're following along, you can go in and grab some of those and bring them in. I'm just going to cancel because I've already brought some in, and we have those here. So I could basically, if I do this, I'm going to be doing these on my maker. So all you would have to do at this point is detach or contour and slice. I think you could slice if they're contoured. I'm not sure, but we're about to find out. And that's why I have this set of corners in here. Now I'm going to duplicate that. And when you do a 5 by 7, I noticed that these are only a 1/4 inch different. Okay? Yeah, it would, Sue. That would be awesome as a Halloween card. So I'm going to make this, I'm going to say 4.75. I unlocked it by 6.75. And that's going to give you the right size corner. Also, when you're doing your inset for those, let me get that inset. So now we have an A2 and we have a 5 by 7. And I know that my A2 is set right, so I don't really have to do anything with that. And I'm going to duplicate it, and we're going to change this to 6.75. Oops, no, sorry, 4.75 by 6.75. And that's going to fit your 5 by 7. And then when you have your card and you actually set it, these you would have to unlock, of course, and set those to a 10 by 7 if they're already done, and they should position. Remember, when you do these insets, if you do not do them a 1/4 inch small, the same size as your cut corners, then they will kind of bow and warp. Let me just kind of pop over here and show you guys real quick. And if that happens, you're just going to have to trim it. So if these are not cut or they're too tight for your card to go in there, what you're going to get is you're going to get it to bow up. Well, it's going to be hard to show you since it fits. It's going to bow up in the middle. And it's going to leave like a little bubble like this. And it's not going to lay flat on your card. So you'll have to trim those if they're a little tight to get it to lay flat for you. Okay? And there it is with the pattern to that side. Pretty. So let's go back over. The next thing I want to do is I want to upload that floral pack because I want to use that with these cards. And I'm just going to hide these insets because we don't need them. We all know that those are just squares. They're going to cut for squares. You can see that I have these caution signs. What it's telling me is the sizes are too large to use with my Joy because I have my Joy machine selected. Guys, don't worry about that because if you're using your Joy, you're going to use the right size card and you're going to hide all of these others anyway. But if you're cutting on your maker, which is what these bases are intended for, because with the Joy, you're only going to have these. You're not going to have the card bases. You've already got your base made. Okay? So you can see that they all disappeared. That's all they're for. So I'm just going to get rid of these. We don't need them. I'm going to try to slice from that one and duplicate it. And this inset even has a decorative corner. So I may keep that one. And then we're just going to hide all the rest of that stuff. That way we've got a clean area to work with. So we're going to go to upload. And you're going to download your image. You're going to hit upload again. And then I'm just going to drag and drop that in. And I put all of those in one file so you wouldn't have to upload them one at a time. Okay? I got these off royalty-free sites, but they could still be subject to copyright, guys. So these are for your personal use. And then you're going to name it and tag it. And I'm just going to put flower because that's how I look things up. And I'm going to save. So name it and tag it the way that you search. Select it and we're going to insert. So now you have this pack and all you've got to do is ungroup it and each one should be individual. You will have to resize. But if you're looking to do cards with something other than flowers, if your brain works anything like my brain works, you should probably search for stencils. And that's going to help you with looking at images that will and won't work for this. Okay? Just gonna hide that. I'm going to duplicate that and detach. I don't need that score line right now. And I'm going to unlock this and make it 10 inches wide, 7 inches tall. We'll see if it skewed it too bad. It looks pretty good. I'm going to go with it. So I've got my 5x7 base and it already has those cut corners on it. I'm going to duplicate it just in case so I have one to fall back on. And I'm going to say I want to do this iris. I'm going to move it forward. Going to duplicate it, move one out of the way. Always when you're working. And that looks pretty good to me right there. I'm going to align, center it vertically. That looks pretty good. Then I'm going to select the two and slice. So you can slice with that contour on there. And now I have my 5x7 card. I'm going to flip that horizontal. And now my sentiment will go here on this side. Of course, I'm going to attach my score line back in there. So you're going to get your score line. We're going to make it 7 inches because that's the height of the card. Sometimes when you have a contour in there, my designs, but well, I just got updated. I tried it yesterday and it wouldn't let me. Align, center, and attach. So now, other than attaching a sentiment over here, this card is ready to go. So all you would have to do at that point is say, let's do happy birthday. And I want to go to draw only. Let's see if I can find a sentiment. There we go. I got that one already, so let's just select it. And then I want to size that down. And the way that I do this, guys, I don't know if when you're doing the joy you can't do this, but this is a step you can take when you're making those joy cards with the 5x7s on your makers and your explorers. You can align your sentiment and you can align it as the way that you want. I'm going to get that square, and I know that this is a 5x7 card, so I'm going to make it 5 inches wide, 7 inches tall. I am going to select it. I'm going to select the card. I'm going to align right, align top. Then I'm going to select just the card. I'm going to arrange and I'm going to move it backward. My sentiment is on the top. I'm just going to hold my shift key, select the gray card and the sentiment, and I'm going to align, center it horizontally. You see it shift. I'm going to get rid of the gray, select the sentiment and the card, and attach. And now I know that that is the center of the back. Okay, so that is how you can set up your card to write on the inside, cut. When you fold it, it's facing the right way, and everything is ready. To set it up for your, I'm just going to get rid of these trash pieces because they're all going to work the same. Pick the ones you want, work with them, size them in, fit them like you want on whatever base you're using. They're all going to work the same. When you're doing one to set it up for the joy, now I'm just going to get rid of all of this, guys, because I can upload it again at another time. I'm just going to work with this one piece. I'm just going to size that in and make sure that it is within the 4 1/4 area of these and the 5. You're just going to select them both. You're going to align and you're going to center it. And then you're going to attach. That is now ready for your joy card. And we'll go ahead and cut this one for the joy. I'm just going to hide that one since I already have it set up. I'm going to get rid of this. Didn't need it. Save. And let's get a sentiment. I should have used the same happy birthday. Should be right there. There we go. Insert it. And of course I want this to be a little bit smaller than I would on the other, so I know that my joy card is 4 1/4, 5 1/2. So for me, 1 1/2 inches high by 2 3/8. That's still pretty large for that card. I'm just going to bump mine down just a little bit more. If you like a bigger sentiment, then you can lay your ruler on your card and you can figure that out how you want it. So let's save and let's make it. You guys want to make it just for kicks and giggles? And I have plugged my joy in. I guess you guys heard that. I'm going to go ahead and hit make it so you guys can see. Again, oops. Let me cancel that. I forgot to select my joy. We always want to do that. Make it. I'm going to be using the pre-folded card mat. And it is the A2. So I'm going to, I'd rather it be a little high. I'm going to bump it over. Hopefully that's going to center up for me and not be too far left. Because I'm not going to test it. You should test it. I'm going to change my mat size here. Why is it not letting me change my mat size? I guess it doesn't matter since it's at the top. So we're going to hit continue. And I'm going to start mine with the draw. Have I used it with my phone or tablet yet? I have not. I haven't had the need because everything I've done with my Joy, I've been right here at my desktop using my Maker at the same time in another window. Have you used yours yet that way, Susan? And I'm just going to select my insert cardstock. And it's going to tell me to load my pen and load the mat. So let's pop over. Hopefully I can get you guys. You can see. And I think that would be really pretty on a black and white, but I'm not going to do a black and white. Let me see what I have here. I could do pink. I thought I had a purple. I'm going to do the holographic. Why not? You didn't get a Joy yet. I love the Joy for the ability, for portability, for card swaps, to make a fast card. I mean, I really do love it for that. I also love it for being able to cut that repetitive 4.5 inch, that 4.5 foot, I should say. I love that ability to do that repetitive design or do a larger design and cutting that vinyl without and iron on without a mat. So I'm going to do the inside of the card first, and that I'm going to need my silver pen, I think. Hopefully it will show up on this dark. I may have to select another color. I really wanted to use that blue though. Let's see what color pens I have. No, I don't have the silver Joy pen yet. My order is not here. Guys, please bear with Cricut. They are getting the orders as quickly as they possibly can. Ashish made another post yesterday. I did not post it in the group. Last time I did, everybody went kind of berserk on it. Okay, we'll swap it. We'll do some royal blue insert or something on this. So I'm going to fold it with my outside first and place it on my mat. Make sure it's lined up properly. See, I can't get mine to go all the way to that line on the side, and I think that's why it's off sometimes, but that's okay. So we're going to take out the blade and insert our pen. Remember, your pen does not click. You just drop it in and close it. No pushing down. Just going to load in the mat. And we're going to hit go over on our screen. It is pouring down rain here, guys. Pouring, pouring, pouring. Yes, everybody, please, please, please be patient with your orders. They're doing the best that they can. And you have to remember, it's not like ordering something from Amazon, who has their own shipping system. More than likely, they also not only have to get all their orders together, but they also have to wait on a semi to probably pick up from those warehouses. And they're not waiting on a small van to come and get those. So, I mean, their shipping is a whole lot different than us running to the post office or a few trucks driving it here and there. It's a whole lot different. You got your Cricut order today? Yay, Elaine! I'm still waiting on my paper order. and I'm supposed to have part of another order coming. So now we have that, and now I'm just going to hit unload on the screen, which you guys can't see. I'm going to remove my card carefully, and see that lined up a little bit better, I think. I'm happy with it. And now we're just going to, you know what, I need to clean that mat or get another one. Let me pull out a new mat because I don't want to be cutting on a mat that it's not going to stick well to. And I know that one's been cut on quite a bit, so it didn't want to stick with the writing. So I know it won't stick with the cutting. So now I have that on my mat. I'm going to drop my blade in, just close it, no clicking, and then we're going to load the mat. Remember my material setting, please. There we go. Just going to stick that in. I'm going to have to move it so it doesn't jiggle the camera. Hopefully you guys can see enough of it here. There we go. And now I'm going to hit go. You got your tool and blade organizer, Susan? Yay. That's what mine that's supposed to be coming is. I still don't have an ETA on my paper. But I'm patiently waiting. I think I will use that hologram. It may not show up as well. I have a piece of blue glitter. What about that? That would be pretty, wouldn't it? Oh, well, I'm just going to pop that in so that you guys can see. I'll use the gold one for now out of here because I'm not cutting the insert, another insert. And I don't think that holographic is going to show up well with the white, but we'll look at both of them in there and see which one's prettier. That's the beauty of these. You can play around with it. I love this holographic. Guys, if you haven't gotten any of this, see that texture on there? It's like a leather look texture, but it's holographic too. Let me go ahead and trim that while we're waiting. See how fast that was, guys? Unload. See, even with designing, it's been under 40 minutes, but it cut in just a couple of minutes and did the sentiment inside. You want to carefully remove, especially with a new mat. You should really use your spatula and do as I say and not as I do. Use your spatula, guys. That would be pretty, just to take and put on a blue card without cutting it. So now I got all of my little chads off of there. Let's cut this down too, so that we can look at it too. I'm going to use my trimmer. And we're going to cut this to 5 1/4 by 4. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. I might have to cut one more before I let you guys go. That purple, I forgot I had it there. So we're just tucking that in. And again, that's slightly off with that white color on the back. So I'm just going to tuck in my acetate piece just to kind of dress up the inside as well as the outside. I know you guys want to see me flip that over. Torture, torture. Look how pretty that is. You guys like that? The purple too, Louise. I have to see this in the purple. I have to. I just have to do it. I love the blue. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. And then you could put the blue, some of the blue acetate. That would be gorgeous. Well, I don't really have to put this in. You guys know what this looks like with that idea. I still love that idea of dressing up the inside. Oh, so far, I can't decide. I don't know which one is my favorite. That's pretty. All right, let's try the holographic. Let's see how that looks. Which ties in with this silver holographic piece I have. So you could just design all day long just by cutting having several of these out of your scrap materials already cut. You could do a whole set of cards in different colors. Ooh. This doesn't pop as much straight on, but looking at it here, guys, I can see the texture when I can't see the holographic. And when I see the holographic, I don't see the texture. And it's gorgeous. This is beautiful. I think this is my favorite one. This is my favorite right here. And then you pick up the same color inside with that foil acetate. I like this. This is really, really, really pretty. And guys, one other thing that I wanted to show you, don't be afraid to do this. If you have stamps, if you're a stamper and you like to stamp sentiments, or either have your Cricut write a sentiment. Just going to finish this and go back. Let me unhide that card. Right here, if you want to do a sentiment on there, you can do one on the front. Instead of on the inside, if you want to stamp the inside, you can do one on the front by welding in. Let me ungroup that. And it's going to depend on which card and what look you want to do. You can come in, let's just go get a tag. If you wanted to do a couple of layered tags, like say this one, I'm just picking this one because it's got a layer so you don't have to watch me search. And shrink that down. Ungroup. This one is what you would stamp your sentiment on. going to detach everything here. Arrange and move that to the back. So if you want a card where you can do a sentiment on the front, you could do something like this right here and weld. And now you have a place where you can, when this is flipped back, let me flip it so you can see what the actual front would look like instead of the way it's supposed to be cut. You could put your sentiment stamp right there on the front of that and still have even another look. So don't be scared to weld over some of your stencil. When you slice that out of your card, go back and weld something in and give yourself something to play with, and that's going to give you some dimension. You could pop dot that up after stamping it or heat embossing it, and you can dress up these cards that way as well. Okay? So there are tons of things that you can do, and the only reason that I didn't do this as a shared file is because we have uploads, because I didn't want to use all Design Space images for this because we can all do that all day long, and the word cutouts. So I wanted to come in and bring you guys a little bit of different stuff. Yes, Andrea, I'm waiting on mine. It's supposed to be here this week, according to my last update. So guys, play around because that would still make a very, very pretty card. Of course, you would want to color or coordinate, but you can put your sentiments right on the front of these cards. Don't be afraid to do some stamping and heat embossing. Yeah, I think it's mainly the orders from April where they had the system glitch. I think that's where the issue is coming in. Because that's my order that's really messed up. But both of them were from April, but it was the 26th, 27th. My paper order got caught up in that mess. So, okay, does anybody have any questions on designing for your joy cards? Remember, when you're doing your 5x7s or designing for your makers or your explorers, your heirs, you have to slice out of your card base. With your joys, you're just going to set your images. You're going to set your image inside your cut corners, and then your sentiment is going to be floating free. But you can do it, and that's all that's required to do it for the joys. So, quick designs if you're using your card inserts or you already have them made up. Thank you, Jamie, and thank you for helping me and try to wrap my brain around making them work. I kept telling Jamie, why won't my brain go backwards? It doesn't want to do this in reverse. But I finally got it after about 10 deletions, 10 file deletions, because I was like, tried to cut it and it didn't work, and tried to cut this and it didn't work. I was doing things backwards. All right, guys. Thank you to all of my Patreon, Ko-fi supporters, and especially my mods. Thank you to my YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys as well. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. I'm still not sure what we're going to do on Wednesday. But, oh, before I let you go, I made a little birthday gift. Let me switch over here. And it could be for any gift, really. But this is the little ladybug. This is close to my heart. This is a stamp and die set. However, I did make one because this one has the little, with the die set, the stitched look. I did make one, and it's a shaker. So it opens up. Ladybug kisses and birthday wishes. So I made a little shaker, It's got the little kisses in it and the little can opener on the top. But we're going to be doing this shaker for this. I made a design space file similar to that. Oh, my camera didn't switch. Sorry. There we go. It's just a little something with some candies in it. You can put any kind of gift in there. And it's a little shaker, but I put it inside the lid. And then the wings spread apart. I should have put an extra foam dot in there. I've got to lift mine and put another foam dot. But it's really cute. And I thought that's really simple, super simple to do in Design Space. To make this little lid for these cans. You can get these cans at Walmart in the birthday section. Over there where the balloons and all that kind of stuff are, and paper plates and all. You can get these little cans, and they come in different sizes. As a matter of fact, I got these at Tuesday morning. These are the little mini sets, and I just take this off the opener, but you can make these in all different sizes. If you don't have acetate, like I said, I got to put another foam dot up there because this lid was a little bit deeper than I expected. And this is the hardest time I've had. There we go. For the acetate, you can use the Cricut acetate right here, or you can use your mat covers, your old mat covers. You can use this acetate. You can use old mat covers. Any kind of little thin plastic, it will help. And it's going to be the Freebie Friday for Facebook, and you can size them to go in these little bitty ones too. So that's what's coming up on Friday. I still haven't decided on Wednesday yet. I was hoping I would have my paper for the box, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It didn't come today. Of course, it was Memorial Day, so no deliveries. But as soon as I will get that box to you guys, I know how much you want it, and I will do it as soon as that paper arrives. So I will come up with something for Wednesday for you guys, and then we will do this on Friday. But if you want the actual die set, you'll have to get that from myself or Susan Betts, Close to My Heart Reps. So you can get that from there. All right, guys, make some of these cards. Show me what you got. Come on, let's see some of these. I want to see some. I'm going to put some Nuvo drops and stuff on mine in my corners just to dress it up just a little bit more. Show me what you do with yours. Okay? You guys have a wonderful rest of your Memorial Day, and I will catch you on Wednesday.